Over 33,000 soldiers were wounded during the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863. Their stories, often lost to history, reveal the raw human experience behind the statistics. This is their story. Colonel John B. Callis of the 7th Wisconsin. I was shot in the right breast, the ball entering my lung, where it still remains. Captain Hobart of my regiment made a detail with himself to take me off the field. They carried me over the pike into a field near the old railroad grade, where they were compelled to surrender and were taken prisoners to the rear, leaving me where you found me. Private Edward Sloyer of the 153rd Pennsylvania. While crossing a clover stubble field, I was shot in the thigh, right, and soon fell to the ground helpless, unable to rise to my feet, the blood spurting from my wound in a torrent. My regiment passed on and left me, and the rebel line of battle passed over, and while lying on the ground in rear of the rebels, I received a shot in the right side, just below and a little back of the right nipple, and following the rib that it struck passed out at the breastbone. I lay in the clover field aforesaid until the evening of the next day. Private John W. Lokey of the 20th Georgia, I advanced up the hill to the right. In ascending to the right, I passed Colonel Jack Jones of my regiment, lying on his back with about half of his head shot off. I then passed one of Company K of my regiment, lying flat on the ground, and he said to me, "You had better not go up there. You'll get shot." I passed on to the top of the hill, and throwing up my old Enfield rifle, I was taking deliberate aim at a Yankee when a Miney ball passed through my right thigh. I felt as if lightning had struck me. My gun fell, and I hobbled down the hill. Reaching the timber in the rear, I saw a Yankee sergeant running out in the same direction, being inside our lines. I called to him for help. "Coming up," he said. "Put your arm around my neck and throw all your weight on me. Don't be afraid of me. Hurry up. This is a dangerous place." The balls were striking the trees like hail all around us, and as we went back, he said, "If you and I had this matter to settle, we would soon settle it, wouldn't we?" I replied that he was a prisoner, and I a wounded man, so I felt that we could to terms pretty quick. Private Jacob Henry Cole of the 57th New York. As we pushed forward, a bullet struck my right arm and passed through it. As we charged into the wheat field, a shell exploded and shattered my right leg and killed 2 of my comrades. When I was shot in the arm, the feeling was the same as though I'd been struck on the elbow. A feeling of numbness came into the arm, and I turned to the comrade by my side and asked him why he had hit me. He said, "I did not hit you, but you have been shot, and you had better go to the rear." I laughed at him and said I was not hurt bad enough to do so. Shortly after, I was injured, as I have mentioned, by the shell. After my leg was shattered, I fell down, laying for a few minutes unconscious, and when I came to my senses, I was surrounded by the enemy. Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Franklin Little of the 52nd North Carolina. I write simply a line to inform you of my condition. In an engagement Friday afternoon near Gettysburg, about 3 p.m., I received a wound in my left arm. It was broken by a musket ball above the elbow. W.F. Lanford of my company was near me when I was wounded. He, having been taken prisoner after the battle was about over, assisted me from the field I lay out that night, but was furnished with blankets and otherwise very kindly treated by the enemy. I reached this place, a federal hospital about 2 miles from town, Saturday the 4th, and my arm was amputated that afternoon by surgeons with whom I had all confidence. It was taken off at the middle third, and of course does not leave much, save for 6 inches. I had no knowledge of the going on of the operation, as I was under the influence of chloroform, but it was pretty painful afterwards, but is, I think, getting on very well. War stories.